Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is not the four horsemen. It is the two horsemen whose names begin with L. It's the living legend, Larry. And it's Lamont Tyson, Mr. Life Gains himself, here to entertain you guys on Thursday night. My brother, Larry, how you doing?
I'm still here, man. I am still here. People keep trying to get rid of me. It's not happening. It's not happening. I am still here.
Well, the people is trying to get rid of a man named Donald Trump, and you actually doing better than what he doing right now.
No one's raided my house.
Larry, the only raid in my house is the bug spray. That's the only one. That's the only raid in this house. Ain't nobody raiding the house. If it's raid, it's being sprayed by me.
You know,
so ladies and gentlemen, we've got a loaded show today. We've got the issue of, we've got two power stories, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
And it's very ironic. These two stories come out last night and tonight. They came out back-to-back nights. I think they co-mingle with each other. We'll get to that in a minute. Larry is going to be very, very disappointed because it involves one of his power booth things. So he's going to be disappointed. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about Trump's raid and white privilege crying uncle complaining that it's illegal and all kinds of other shit that black people used to say in the 60s, and you didn't want to hear it. And now you up here crying about something that was done legally. It's straight bull job. We're going to talk about that. But then, ladies and gentlemen, Michael K. Williams' last movie is coming out at the end of this month. It's called Breaking the Movie, and it stars him and John Boyega. It looks good. I got the trailer. We're going to take a look at it.
All right.
And guess what else I got, Larry? There's a new Black Panther trailer where they added a couple of more clips. I got that too.
They must have heard all the people complaining about there's no men. They probably added like 3 seconds of dudes, huh?
No. The only dudes you're gonna see is the antagonist of the movie. You ain't seeing no black dudes. Forget it. You're seeing Polynesian dudes, Atlantean dudes. That's all you're gonna see, my brother. Sorry. And then, ladies and gentlemen, there's some DC news. And Larry is not going to like some of the DC news.
I might have to, man. As much as Wakanda's disappoint me with these trailers, I might have to switch over and become a DC fanboy, man.
Well, we're going to get there. And ladies and gentlemen, if we have enough time, they actually dropped the first 3 minutes of She-Hulk, and I actually got that clip. But we're going to do some of this other stuff first. So, Larry, let's go ahead and start off with Donald Trump. And I've got the news coverage of what happened to Trump. It seems like justice has been avoiding him. And one of the main excuses why justice was avoiding him was because, number one, he was a political figure, and number two, he was president. Well, the wheels of justice said you can't grind us to a halt. You might slow us down, but you're not going to stop our asses. So, ladies and gentlemen, this happened to Donald Trump, and then me and Larry come back and give you the follow-up of what's going on.
The FBI raid on Donald Trump's Florida home is causing uproar today.
This is a dangerous and unstable moment in American history.
Pro and anti-Trump protesters gathered outside Trump Tower.
Mr. Trump, can we get your reaction to the raid?
The former president ignored questions as he left last night. His political action committee, Save America, is already using the raid to raise funds. It's time for every patriot to step up and stand against the political persecution of President Trump.
While the raid was happening, former President Trump was here at Trump Tower firing off that furious statement that his home in Florida was under siege. Today, there are published reports that the FBI had an inside source at Mar-a-Lago who directed agents to offices and Trump's living quarters.
We spoke with former FBI Assistant Director Chris Swecker.
I think a bad decision was made here, and it's been made before, where you go in with a lot of fanfare and a lot of, and put on a big show, when you could have gone in very quietly.
Trump supporters gathered outside Mar-a-Lago in a noisy show of solidarity with the former president. The White House says they had no advance notice of the raid. Donald Trump's son Eric told Sean Hannity that FBI agents ransacked a closet and even broke into a safe.
They don't want Donald Trump to run and win again in 2024.
Trump's former attorney Michael Cohen welcomed the raid with this TikTok post.
All right, knock, knock. Who's there? The FBI, that's who's there.
He told me he hopes an indictment may be next.
I want to see him indicted and incarcerated for the crimes that he's committed. And they are plentiful. And hopefully soon we're going to start to see some action.
Larry, the living legend, Larry. Lord, this is a sad moment in this nation, not because justice is actually being served the way it should be served. It's sad because, Larry, there's almost 40% of people who know this man is wrong, or they're blind to the fact that he's wrong, and they're cheering on this stupidity that he's an innocent man. And it got so bad that you had politicians using the term Civil War number 2. And I got to thinking, and it was right-wing politicians saying this bullshit. I got to thinking, Larry, maybe a civil war is what we need to cleanse this country of these idiots that believe in the Trumpism, that believe in white privilege is the only way we can have law and order. Because, Larry, it's like this. We got stuck with Trump simply because the way our voting system is constructed, that's antiquated. And if we was to have another civil war and we was to crush them, maybe we could put in a better system so that the minority can't rule the majority. And the last point I'm going to give you, Larry, and then I'll let you have the floor. Do you remember that Democrats said one of the reasons why we lost some seats in Joe Biden's election was because they used the term defund the police?
Right.
Is this going to hurt the Republicans the same way it supposedly hurt the Democrats, where you got this BITCH coming out talking about defund the FBI? And thank you, Hillary, for trolling the whole Republican Party. You made yourself instantly look 20 years younger. Larry, the floor is yours, but somebody wants to say good night, Larry. So let her say good night, and I give you the floor.
Where's she at? Where's she at?
Come on. Hey.
There she is.
Hi. You're going to say wave to Larry?
Hey.
Say hi.
All right.
He's about to say some things about a very, very sick man, okay? And I can't have you hear that. So give me a good night kiss. Good night.
There it is.
I'll see you in a little bit, okay?
There it is.
Bye-bye. High five. High five. All right. Bye-bye. Too slow. Goodbye. All right. Floor is yours, Big Larry. Talk to this, man. It's I've always told people it's not Trump that's the problem. It's the people that support folks like him that's the problem. But I give the floor to you. The FBI done nothing wrong. Merrick Garland came out today and threw the ball back in Trump's court, Larry. Floor is yours, my brother.
So here's the thing about the Civil War, right? I really hope to God that we don't have another one. And the reason why is because I know that you get a lot of these people on the right talking about another civil war. I don't think people truly understand and can comprehend the magnitude of the amount of death, that American death that occurred during our Civil War. And as many Americans that died in World War II and Vietnam and Korea and Iran, Iraq, all those numbers combined don't equal to the amount of people that died in our Civil War, to the amount of Americans that died. And so and the thing is, before, when we were fighting the Civil War, it was very divided with the North versus the South. If you fight a civil war now divided on political lines, you may be fighting literally your next door neighbors. You don't know who is going to be that person that you're going to have to watch your back from. We have secret ballots. We don't know the crazy Trumpers that went into. We know that we had record turnout. We know that more people voted Republican in that last election than ever have before. It's just that we were lucky enough, if we want to call it lucky. It was really a lot of planning that went into it, that we had more Democrats that came out and voted too. So, I mean, I don't want a civil war because I mean, it would be excruciating. It would be bloody. It would be horrifying. It would be devastating. And we're already looking like to the rest of the world like a bunch of buffoons, where you have presidents on Twitter and former presidents' lawyers on TikTok.
Larry, I gotta help you on that one, Larry. I gotta help you on that one. I'm gonna help you on that one. The image of America outside of America has always been that of Trump and his types. A lot of people hate America because they believe that our nation is a nation of people like Trump when we're not. That's about a 35% of the nation. But when you put him in office and you let him get away with crimes and you see his supporters, like today, Larry, there was a mass shooting at an FBI center today. The FBI has came and released notes, Larry, today that the same type of messages and things we've seen before January the 6th, they're seeing that type of stuff online right now. Okay.
Right.
All because justice is being served equitably, fairly, and Merrick Garland said it best. It don't matter if you're the president. You are not above the law. And I would differ with him because when he was the president, he was above the law, but he's not the president now. And hold on, Larry. Shout out to that girl, Lamont and Larry. Please be on your worst behavior tonight. That girl, don't egg us on now. Don't egg us on, because you know we will. We will get on that bad behavior. And shout out to all 100 of y'all that are in here watching. We love you. We're grateful. They're coming to the Thursday night show. It's the end of the week. You don't have to be here, but we're grateful you showed up.
Shout out to my brother in the room too. I see him in there. He says, "Arm yourself."
Hey, what's up, Sterling? What's going on, my G?
Shout out to my big bro.
This is a house. You might as well call this house Man at Arms, like I'm He-Man and shit. Because my wife got something that's real hot and she shoot better than me, and I got a couple of things too. But Larry, the floor is back yours, man. The floor is yours.
I'll tell you, my brother's been trying to get me to arm up for years, and I'll tell you, when I was in the Coast Guard, when I had to go through training to shoot, and it becomes a little scary when you shoot and you realize. I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but I am an excellent shot. I was shooting and did not miss a single shot. When I would, when I go out to the ranch with my wife and we go shoot out there, I just don't miss. And that's scary because if you pick up a gun and you aim it at someone and shoot, you're gonna hit what you aim for. And I don't want to kill anybody, And so it's a scary thing for me to own a gun. But I mean, this is all such a joke on the Republican side. This whole defund the FBI and they're up there complaining about the FBI. I mean, the fact of the matter is, the stuff that they're doing now is like 100 times worse than what Hillary Clinton did. Hillary Clinton didn't try and delete emails or get rid of emails or anything else. Her emails just weren't on the servers that they should have been because she was using private servers. And let's not forget, what Hillary did was not against the law. It might have been what some people would have said was unethical, but it was not against the law. In fact, if people remember, Colin Powell, who was Secretary of State beforehand, did the same thing. He had a private server for his emails as well. This was not like she was setting new precedents. She just followed along what the previous Secretary of State did.
And Colin Powell was a Republican.
Right. He was a Republican. And so, she did that. But they did pass laws about this, saying that they needed to be, that the servers had to be government servers, and all this has to do with the recording, all with the National Archives and maintaining all these records and everything. And President Trump, when he was president, he knew what he was doing was wrong because they didn't keep those emails. They took records. They took top secret files out of the White House. And the thing is, we know that Trump has a very close relationship with Russia. We know that he has a close relationship with Putin. So the idea of him taking all these top secret documents with him to Mar-a-Lago, and the idea of who might have access to those, it's really just terrifying. Not to mention that I don't know if any of you remember, there was not long before he left office, there was a case where there were Chinese intelligence agents gaining access to Mar-a-Lago. They were there on the facility. They were trying to gain, access to the individual people that were there. And a woman was actually arrested on espionage charges while she was there, a Chinese intelligence agent. So these things are not safe there. And
not to mention Kim Jong-un, he's buddies with him too.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just it's this idea that the government is somehow in the wrong and they're somehow persecuting him. It's utterly ridiculous. It's just utterly ridiculous. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't really matter how many ducks that you have in a row before you go after Trump and his people. They're always going to claim persecution. They're never going to take responsibility for anything. They're always going to claim it's just some left-wing Democratic Democratic conspiracy, and that they're just persecuting Republicans. At some point you have to say, we don't care what the language is that's being used. We don't care what the mouthpieces are saying. We are just going to follow the law, and the law is going to take us where it takes us.
We hope. The problem with the law that we've seen in some cases, it seems to be backfiring, because Trump put in the most judges a president has ever put in federal places. And a lot of these judges have been, I don't want to say turning on him, because that would sound like they're in cahoots with him. I'm going to say it this nicely. They're following the letter of the law. And a lot of the letter of the law goes against what Trump has been saying and doing. I mean, the judge that got this degree for them to do the raid, he's a Republican. Are we forgetting that the head of the FBI, Chris Wray, was appointed by who, Larry?
Trump. He's a Trump appointee and a lifelong Republican. But here's the thing that people need to understand, that there are a lot of people in our government that have dedicated their entire lives to government service. I mean, and when I mean their entire lives, I mean there are people who from the time they were very young said, I want to be an FBI agent, and have asked, how do I become an FBI agent? And people have put them on a path where they have told them what you need to study in school, what trouble you need to stay out of, what type of physical activities you need to do so that you're physically fit, so that you can actually, pass all the tests to become an agent, and all the stuff that you need to do to advance so that you can become an agent and affect the change that you want to affect. So there are people in government who are extremely dedicated to the Constitution of the United States of America, and they don't care who breaks it. They don't care if you are a Republican. They don't care if you're a Democrat. They are going to come after you. They would prefer maybe that you don't if you're a Republican, or I'm sure they prefer that no one breaks it. And maybe if a Democratic breaks it, maybe they have a little bit of glee in their step. Maybe if a Republican breaks it, they do their duty, but not with as much joy and enthusiasm, but they're still going to do it. And it doesn't make them bad. It doesn't make them conspiracy theorists or conspirators. It makes them loyal, dedicated government servants who are patriots. And I hope they continue to do their duty. And addressing my brother who said it's dangerous when governments raid former presidents, it is dangerous because we know what could happen next. We know the Republicans can come out there and be retaliatory and come after the Democrats. But the fact is, it's more dangerous not to do the raid. It's more dangerous to leave those top secret documents there. It's more dangerous to let Trump and his cronies believe that they are above the law with no consequences. So the next time they do something even worse, and they put more people in power, so there's less checks and balances. It's more dangerous to do nothing. And that's what happens so many times in so many countries. You have good men and women who do nothing. And that's what they say.
And then you become a banana republic. And you sitting there looking at, how did this country that was a democracy, Germany, all of a sudden you're a dictatorship and a banana republic ran by Hitler? What you're seeing in America is how that happens.
Exactly. And we know Trump.
That's how it happens.
And we know Trump is a follower of Hitler. People talked about how he keeps Mein Kampf by his bedside. He has read that. He follows his ideas. If you look at the way he's behaving, he has done things in a way that is very similar to Hitler trying to gain power and maintain power. And the thing is, as they always say, for evil to prevail, all you need is for good men to do nothing. We can't sit around and say, well, if we do this, then they're probably going to come after us next. Maybe they will. But we have to do it. We cannot let these evil men sit there and just do whatever they want to do with impunity. We can't let that happen. There has to be consequences. There has to be.
Exactly. Well said, my brother. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, that's the political segment. We're going to get up on out of there, but let me shout out Samara. Let me shout out Jess Sheldon, Tressa C, Jenna James. We're glad you all are here. And again, to Larry's point, nobody, and I mean nobody, should be above the law. And oftentimes, one of the problems that upsets us citizens is the fact that it seems like the politicians are above the law. I mean, you have to really think about how heinous the crimes are when they actually go after a politician. Because I'm hearing all this bull job today about if someone is running, it doesn't look good if the DOJ goes after them. If someone is in office, you shouldn't bother. No, fuck that. If someone in office goes and shoots your mama, what, we supposed to wait till they get out of office?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, that's crazy.
We supposed to wait until their political campaign is over? No, you're not above the law. I'm
at any time.
At any time. And this little, it's not even a law they're talking about. It's some kind of protocol. It's a precedence that you don't go after people who are politicians. Not a law. You can do it, but there's a precedence you don't do it. And did we get that same kind of vitriol when they kept talking about Hillary Clinton's her emails? No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
I mean, here's the thing: is that, and this is what frustrates me, right? Is that it seems to me oftentimes like the Republicans are being placed above the law, where it takes so much for them to actually have things, to have anything happen to them, whereas the Democrats oftentimes, they're self-policing in a lot of ways, where the Democrats do something and they go ahead and the Democrats often take care of it in-house and say, you got to go. I mean, think about what's his name. What was that the former New York Attorney General? I forgot his name. The dude who got mixed up because he had hired a prostitute and she took the train out from like
New York
and
then
DC.
I know you talk Spitzer, wasn't it? Spitzer,
Elliot Spitzer. I mean, that dude got caught up with hiring a prostitute and she took a train across state lines, and so the feds got him on that. This wasn't anything really that I think is untoward. He hired a woman who was offering her services, and he paid for him. It wasn't even like he jacked her. He paid for her, and she came out to visit him. Now, on the other hand, they got rid of him real quick. But on the other hand, you look at someone like Matt Gaetz. This dude was boning little ass girls. This man is sleeping with children. He's paying children. This man is having sex with underage, sex trafficked children. And this motherfucker's still in office.
Tell
me that is not some bullshit. This dude, she should not be in the office. He should be in jail getting ass raped by some dude named Time Bomb. You know? I mean, that shit is crazy.
And here's another thing that the Democrats did, Larry, that gets on your nerve with them trying to give the allure doing right. You remember Al Franken?
I do.
Minnesota Senator.
This dude took a picture. He didn't even grab an ass. He took a picture faking like he was grabbing an ass. He didn't even actually grab the ass, and he lost his Senate seat over a 10-year-old fucking picture. It wasn't even a
10-year-old picture of him fake cupping the girl's breast, and Fox News actually brought the woman on set and said she was not offended by it. She said it was poor choice, but he shouldn't lose his job over that. He resigned because Democrats put pressure on him, and he was a great damn senator too.
He was fantastic. He was one of those senators that gave zero fucks and went hard on the Republicans. He was one of those dudes that we needed, and he went hard on the Republicans. And the Democrats just said, "You got to go." And I'm thinking to myself, why? Censure him. Don't get rid of him. Censure him.
Why even censor him, Larry? Because I remember that story very well because, first of all, if you didn't know Al Franken, before he became a politician, he was a stage comedian.
A stand-up comic.
That picture he took was him doing comedy for our military cross seas. Don't we love our troops and shit? You know how y'all do. Oh, we love the military. Thank you for your service and all that. But fuck, stop it. You don't love them. The Republican Party does not love them.
And not to mention that these Republican motherfuckers voted against. They just were voting up against those burn pit things. They had to pass the burn pit legislation on party lines. They all voted against it.
Yes, Joe Biden had to get that passed. Now, I will say this for those. They wanted it to be in a separate bill. So they say, Larry. That's what they say. They didn't want it to be in this all-encompassing bill that had a lot of green stuff in it. They didn't want none of that because they don't give a damn about saving the planet anyway. They don't believe in carbon and ozone effect. They don't believe in none of that. Hell, they hardly believe in solar until they come to my house and see my solar panels. But they don't believe in any of that.
They don't believe in any of that climate change stuff until all of their states, all their Kentuckys and Mississippis and everything else are flooded and all their hillbilly trucks are floating down the highway.
Pretty much. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave it there. But Larry, I gotta know, is this gonna hurt the Republican Party?
No, nothing. No. None of that shit's gonna hurt them because none of them care. The entire party and all of the people that support them are a bunch of hypocrites. So there's nothing that they could do that's going to hurt them. There's nothing they could do that's gonna hurt them.
Down. Exactly. As Larry said, up and down hypocrites. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna park it there because now we're probably gonna have about a 25-minute segment on the power universe. Oh boy. Larry, the news broke last night. Oh boy. I'm gonna just let y'all sit. Go get your friends, get a cup of wine, whatever you like. Get some, if you try to get a nuts and apple, whatever you want. Larry, the news broke last night. This right here, Larry. Power program in chief possibly wanting to resurrect Ghost's character and expand the universe overseas. Now, Larry, let me show you how we last saw Ghost and how the legend of Ghost still remains. And while a lot of people was continuing to say Ghost is not dead, they're going to bring him back. Take a look at this.
You know, the easiest way to sneak up on your enemies is to make them think that they already won. Sneak attack.
What? He's dead and he's still trying to control my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a fan-made video when everybody and their mama knew Ghost was dead, but a lot of people wouldn't let him live. And now it looks like, Larry, Ghost is going to be coming back, because I have a lot of subscribers on my channel who are overseas that love this genre of TV. There's a show called Top Boys across seas that they love.
I've seen it.
That's eerily similar, but not quite Power. And Power is heavy cross seas. So this particular guy wants to bring the character back, and he don't want to do it with Amari Hardwick, but he wants to bring it back and expand overseas. In essence, cutting off a lot of what they was planning on doing here in America. Larry, would it be a mistake for them to bring back a knockoff Ghost overseas, or what do you think? Is this going to be a good move for them? And while we're waiting for that news, let's see how the Power Gang has aged. Oh, damn, they done some aging, didn't they, Larry?
They really did. Boy, they're looking crazy. They're looking crazy. Tasha still looks pretty decent. She looks similar, but they're looking crazy. Boy, Tommy, boy, that nose just grew.
I know. And Angela, boy, she got 2 chins on her pretty quick, man. Didn't take long at all for that. Almost looking like Skeletor. Damn, Angela. But go ahead, Larry. Good move, bad move, frustrating move. Bring Ghost back. And Amari Hardwick, he's not going to be the one that's going to play the character. Do you see them resurrecting? How would it play out, Larry? Would it be a bad move?
I think they don't need to do it. I think this is an example of people's impatience. They wanted something they want something back that they really enjoyed, and that it was taken away from them. And like, I don't know what somebody thinks they see in that photo with all this head, gunshot wound, neck. It was nothing but just good. That, you know what that was right there? When I see that as a filmmaker, I see good bokeh. I see a nice blurred background. That's it. But but in all reality, I feel like they don't need to do it, because they already said that they have the one show, like the prequel with with Tommy and Ghost and Kanan when they were all much younger, and the kid that's from Shameless is going to be in it playing Tommy. I think they already have the Ghost character that's coming back. I think people just need to be a little bit patient. And to be honest with you, the fact that there's so many people that want this character, I feel like they should probably hurry up and get it out before people lose interest, before people just sort of get frustrated and they lose interest and they move on to something else. They should strike while the iron's hot and bring it back with that prequel show. Now, if they want to bring the adult Ghost back at a later date, maybe they can do it where they have the show with the young kids, and as those young kids, as the seasons go and they age a little bit, then maybe you can then expand that show and bring in a new adult Ghost, and you can start, because when we started with Power, he was already in his 40s or something. So
Amari Hardwick,
the Ghost.
The character, yeah.
I think the character was already like in his 40s, so I'm feeling like we could do an adult Ghost that's a little bit younger, maybe in his late 20s, early 30s, where he's really just starting to come into his own, where he's just starting to leave the streets behind and really start to get into his grown manness and his starting running businesses and stuff. And on the other hand, we can see Tommy out there still wilding out, wanting to be in the streets. So we can still get that. But we just have to run. I feel like they just need to run through the younger kids a little bit first.
Well, we probably are going to get Ghost probably this season at the very end. Ghost and Tommy are probably going to appear on Raising Kanan this season closer to the end, which means there's going to have to be a season 3. They literally could take Raising Kanan probably like 8-9 seasons. They literally could, Larry, because once you're done with the story with the mama.
Yeah,
we love that mama. Yes. Patina Miller.
She's bad. She's definitely bad. To be honest with you, I don't find her story as compelling as some of the other characters. Like I'm much more interested in seeing the story with what's her name in there. What's his cousin's name? The one Jukebox. I'm much more interested in seeing Jukebox's development and how she goes and how she works out. And I like his other uncle too, the one that's starting the record label. I find him interesting too.
Lulu. Okay, yeah.
So I wouldn't mind seeing those two stories. The other dude is sort of an F up, which is sort of typical. Right. He's all right. I mean, he's just his character's sort of predictable though.
Kind of so. I mean, but every guy who's the muscle, ain't their character usually predictable, Larry?
Yeah. And that's why like he's good where he is in that show, but he's not the most interesting. I find that Jukebox and what's his name more interesting than the mom. Kanan's all right. The problem with Kanan's character is he's so like the stuff that he does is so like he's so stupid. Like sometimes you see the stuff he does and you're just like, bro, can you not see that point A leads to point B? It's like stuff that you're watching, you're like, bro, what are you doing? This is dumb.
No, it's Larry. He's a teenager.
It's like you have white shoes on, you see a mud pile, and you see him walking. You're like, bro, step around. And he steps right in the middle of the mud, then gets angry. His shoes are dirty. You're like, what'd you expect?
He's a teenager, man. That's what they do. They do stupid stuff like that. I mean, hell, I just told my daughter today, don't spill that juice. As soon as I turn my back, what the hell happened? The juice is spilled, and then she looking all mad, like, I said, don't spill the juice. It's OJ. Don't spoil it. She spilled the damn juice any damn way. So It is what it is. And I think one of the good things would be to just see Kanan's character, how it develops to what we've already seen, as well as Jukebox. I like Jukebox character. I like seeing her develop. And I do want to see what is Lulu going to do now that he done forced Crown Camacho to sign that record label deal. So there's a lot going to be happening with that. Yeah. But Larry,
who is this Deshane? My brother said he's would like to see Ghost versus Deshane, but I don't know who this Deshane is.
Ain't Deshane in Top Boy?
Oh, yeah.
He in Top Boy. Yeah, he in Top Boy. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's not the only power story that happened this week. So we got this story yesterday, Larry. That was yesterday. And when that came, I was like, you know what?
So you're not feeling it. You don't want to see him overseas.
Well, I mean, I feel like if he's going to go overseas, it's going to eventually have to play here. And I don't mind them bringing the character back. We just know that they can't bring back the same Ghost that was here over there. Look. If the
just run a whole new series there.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't
just
mind
like they did that with Shameless. They did that with Shameless.
I do exactly. I don't mind them bringing the character back. But it's just going to have to be something a little different. And with them going this direction, there was another power show we was looking forward to. And Larry, I'm just going to play the clip, and then we'll talk about how sad we're going to be because, ladies and gentlemen, they're canceling this man's program that we was about to get because they're taking their damn asses across the pond. Take a look at this, Larry.
So you fought the law and you won, my brother. Rashad Tate, Councilman in Queens. That I declare my bid for governor of New York.
Brett Walsh is planning to announce James St. Patrick to be the next lieutenant governor. You're lost, boo.
I took your dream. Nothing can stop me from winning. Maybe politics just ain't your thing. You ever thought about that?
Larry, power spinoff influence centered on Councilman Tate not moving forward. Damn, man, come on, Power Lord.
Man,
so that means Larry will not get to see this beauty right here no more.
Ramona.
The very alien-looking Ramona.
Come on, bro.
She was a beautiful looking alien.
Whatever.
You can be a beautiful looking alien. Larry, let me read you the excerpt here. It says, influenced, which would have centered on a slippery politician, Rashad Tate, as he continued his cutthroat quest for power, is no longer in development at the cable network. TV Line has confirmed. The offshoot, originally dubbed Power Influence, Book 4, was poised to be third in a string of 4 spinoffs to premiere after Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Book 3 Raising Kanan. But before the recently launched Tommy-centric Force, but since it was first announced in February 2020, the order has shifted and Force was officially dubbed Book 4 in the franchise. No more influence. Larry, I think that all has to do with them taking the direction that they want to do what Shameless did, have an American version of Power, have a UK version of Power, and that means, you know what, we're not going to pay this man, and that's a damn shame. That is a damn Ron Simmons damn shame, because that's the one I was looking the most forward to.
Yeah, me too.
If you see what's going on with politics in real life, imagine sprinkling that into dramatized politics, and we've already seen a little bit of it. And
we did.
Yes,
he showed up. He showed up in with helping out Tariq. So we already had it set up nicely where he could have run for office, and Tariq would have already had his hooks in him, because he would have been like, "Look, bro, you helped me, but I helped you, and you know that it can't be let out that you helped me."
Right.
So he would have already had his hooks in him. That was the show I was most looking forward to. We have enough of these friggin' little thug gangster shows, people running around shooting each other and whatnot. I want something a little bit more cerebral, something a little bit more highbrow, and they just sort of killed it off. That's really disappointing to me, to be honest with you. That's really disappointing.
Well, what I want to know is there any way, because Courtney Kemp has taken her talents to Netflix, is there any way Courtney Kemp can do this story with Netflix? If she does, most likely she can't call it Power. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sure Starz and Lionsgate probably has the rights to Power. Yeah. So maybe she could do something similar and not be Power, and maybe even bring in Rashard Tate. But I got to tell you, Larry, people are leaving Netflix because Netflix has been tripping on price, it's one of those things where if you ever go to a buffet, you finally start realizing that the buffet is really not as good as you think. It's really quantity over quality. And that's the way a lot of people is feeling with Netflix. And so I'm disappointed, man, because I was looking forward to this. And the fact that they wound up naming Force Book 4 kind of told me that this was going to be axed, but I hope we get to see Rashard Tate in something else. What you got, Larry?
Yeah, it's interesting because Netflix isn't going to be able to get this unless they go in and just straight up buy Starz or something, Right. But which may not be a bad move for them. They need more original content that people actually want to see, and something like this I think would be a big hit for Netflix. I think would really, really help. But yeah, I don't man, that's really disappointing. That's the one show out of all these spinoffs that I was actually really, really looking forward to. I mean, I was sort of looking forward to the Tommy one. Well, I was looking forward to the Tommy one until I saw the trailers, and then I was like, and then I watched it and I was like, it's okay. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't good. It was just okay. Right. This one I was really looking forward to. But who knows? I mean, maybe it'll get resurrected at some point. Maybe it does well. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it turns out that dude, what's his name? The executive, the Starz executive that got into some trouble with I think he got into some trouble with some sexual harassment or so. I wouldn't be surprised if he was the one that was going to be the showrunner or executive producing this particular spinoff, and that's why it got kicked to the curb, because he got kicked to the curb.
Could be that. So, ladies and gentlemen, post your comments. Let us know what you think. We're sad. I want to know how you guys feel. Do you want to see this type of story with Courtney Kemp somewhere else? Let us know what you think.
I wonder if what's his name's schedule just got too busy. I wonder if they, when they pushed it back, I wonder if Lorenz Tate's schedule just got too busy, and he was like, "Look, if we can't do it now, we can't get it done, because I have movies that are, because that's one good thing about being in a successful series is that you get noticed again. Your career picks back up, and you start getting movie offers and other TV show offers. And he may have had stuff on the table, and he said, "Look, if you can't get this done in this period of time that we were supposed to, I have to bow out because I have other stuff." What about his brother?
What about his brother? Was starting to got a role on Power, was starting to come up. What about his brother? By them doing this, you taking food off people's tables, Starz. You taking food off people's plates, Starz, because his brother was getting to come up too.
He was, but one good thing though about having a brother on there, if your brother's going with one show, he's going to bring him in on something else. I mean, right. if I get on a TV show, don't think my brother's not eating right there with me. You know,
right.
If I go to another TV show, he's eating on that TV show too. You know, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to the next one. Black Panther released a little bit of a trailer with a little more meat to it. And I took pictures of what they didn't put in the other one. Larry's not pleased already, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 175 in the building. Please be sure to like our video, comment, subscribe to my channel. Larry's down there working on tech. Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you about how bad this living legend Larry is. If YouTube wouldn't have fucked him in the butt with a hot poker, Larry would have 250,000 subscribers if you add what he had on his previous channel plus what he's regained on his new channel. So don't sleep on this man, ladies and gentlemen. And be sure to download our podcast, because I do put these on the podcast, and we both are on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Go check us out there.
Man, when you say it like that, that hurts. Man, I would have been up there. Man, if they hadn't taken it out, I would have been up there.
Yeah. And Larry, if they wouldn't have got me, I'd probably be at about 300,000. You know, holding it down for us, but it's all good. I'm here. I'm moving on. I'm doing some other things. So I'm about to be like, F you, YouTube. You made me a better person by what you've done to me. But here we go, Larry. Black Panther. Let me know if you can pick out the little nuances. Here we go.
The time has come for Atlantis to rise again.
How much more are you hiding? Vibranium. Strongest metal on Earth.
Communities flooded with vibranium weapons, they could overthrow every country.
The Black Panther lives.
The world is changing, General. The outside world is catching up.
I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world! Have I not given everything?
What you notice, Larry? What you notice different?
That they cut M'Baku out of that, so there's even fewer men from Wakanda, and there's no men from Wakanda. Tell you. I'm done, Larry, man. I don't even know if I want to see this. I might wait till it comes on Disney Plus, man. This is just, I'll tell you, man, this is just upsetting. I might be rooting for Namor at this point. You know?
Larry,
I might be rooting for Namor.
I spoofed you in the audience. That's not a new video. That was a fan-made trailer, Larry, where they took voice acting from the original Black Panther movie and put voice over on this one in different parts, Larry. The only thing that was in there that we didn't see was they are showing them with the vibranium in this sequence. And it looks like they are going to start this thing out going underwater. And if you guys can remember from Infinity Wars, when she had Nkoye saying there was a tremor under the ocean, and Nat was like, what are you going to do about it? And she said, Nat, it's an earthquake in the ocean. We handle it by not handling it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that tremor was too much, so they're taking their asses and that technology going underwater. And you notice this right here. I'm going to give you guys a dissertation on the bad guy in this movie. This looks to be either the coast of Wakanda, which I think it is, and it looks like the Atlanteans tried to get up here and steal some vibranium, and they getting their asses handed to them, Larry. But the other thing that I noticed in this joint was this right here. This is how I figured that out. These are those same Atlanteans trying to come over a wall, and Larry, look at the Dora Milaje coming down with their spears and shit, about to kick their ass. However, there was a Shang-Chi tie, Larry. Let me show you this. This
look at that.
Is Namor. And Shang-Chi and Namor do have a little something that happened in the comics, and it looks as though they might wind up playing it out with the 10 rings and Namor at some point in time, as illustrated by this that we're going to see in the Black Panther movie. So there you go. I picked that up for you. We got Evan Ross is back. He's going to be helping them out. But Larry, everybody want to know about the main villain, the one who's going to try to beat the hell all up out of Namor. They've had a nice comic book run. I talked about him, but I never showed you what he looks like. His villain is this guy right here, Atuma. And when he's underwater, he has the base level strength of the Hulk. He's got this sword that's pretty powerful. And he's frustrated because he wants to have the throne of Atlantis, but he can't have that throne because Namor is the prince of Atlantis. And he doesn't feel like Namor is worthy. So in the comics, they have fight after fight after fight. And it's very similar to Aquaman. Atuma's got that strength, but he can't talk to the fish. He's not as agile as Namor. He's not as powerful as Namor is on land as he is underwater. So you get him out of water, that's how you can whip his ass. And there's a comic run, Larry, where he teams up with Dracula, yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is Dracula, and Hyperion, which is Marvel's version of Superman. Larry, I'm just waiting to get on with all the good stuff. So talk to me about how you feeling about Black Panther now that I've given you some of the backdrop of what's going on in the story.
Oh man, part of me starts feeling like I'm not sure that we might be mixing up the villains again. Like maybe Namor and them are not the villains. Maybe they are simply trying to liberate the people of Wakanda from their corrupt government. Because let's not forget the Wakandans were led by a corrupt royal family. That is why Killmonger trained his whole life is so that he could go there, not even overthrow, but rightfully fight for the throne of Wakanda and dethrone that corrupt royal family that murdered his father.
What?
And you forget that his daddy died with panther claws in his chest. He murdered him. His daddy didn't do anything. His daddy didn't raise a hand up to T'Chaka. T'Chaka just straight murked him. You know?
Ladies and gentlemen, I haven't given this to Larry in so long. Let me give this to Larry. Maybe he'll chill out. Let me give this to Larry. Where is it? And maybe he'll chill out.
Yeah, go ahead and burn all that.
My king, we cannot do that. It is our tradition.
When I tell you to do something, I mean that shit. Burn it all!
Right there. You know? Just like Hitman 24 Brown said, I trained my whole life for this moment. That's it. Trained his whole life for that moment because he knew that the Wakandan royal family was corrupt and they needed to be taken out, and they cheated him. They cheated him multiple times during that challenge. He won that challenge and they cheated him. I'm telling him, I'm not sure that we might be mixing up the bad guys again. I'm not sure Namor is the bad guy in this one. He might be coming up trying to liberate the Wakandans from their corrupt family, their corrupt political family.
Namor is not the bad guy in this. Atuma's the bad guy.
Atuma might not even be the bad guy. We might have him mixed up too. He might be up there trying to do some liberation.
Ladies and gentlemen, these Atlanteans you see that are invading Wakanda was not sent there by Namor. They were sent there by Atuma to act as if Atuma is trying to start a war between Atlanteans and Wakandans so that he can take the throne. Namor is going to find out the truth. And in this battle where you're going to see Shuri versus Namor, Shuri is probably going to have a stalemate with him. They're going to realize that they're being tricked by Atuma, the Hulk underwater. Then they're going to come together, kick his ass, and become friends. The end.
Sounds like we don't even need to see it, especially since it's just going to be a bunch of whackness anyways. Come on. I know everybody's down for all the girl power and hot girl summer and all the other stuff that's going on, but let's be real, man. The whole getting rid of T'Challa, trying to bring in Shuri after one movie. Bring Shuri in after like 5 movies. You know, not after the first movie. Okay, make it 4. You know, but I'm just saying. You can't get rid of her. I'm trying to get rid of T'Challa already, and just basically just make it seem like the Dora Milaje and Shuri and just all the women are going to take care of everything. No, the Dora Milaje were hot ass bodyguards that T'Challa was supposed to pick one to be a bride one day. That's what they were. They're not supposed to be some big integral role. You read the comics. You know what was. You know what's what with them. They're fierce warriors, but they didn't play such a huge role in the comics like they have them playing now.
I mean, they had them. They weren't
big like they were now.
No, they weren't this big, but they was the royal guard that took care. I mean, they basically centered them similar to the way female lions behave in the wild. The female lions do all the work until the men come. When the men come to fight, then the man steps up and fight. But other than that, the female, that's kind of what they were centered around and protecting the royal crown. And now, Larry, we've got them plus Shuri, which makes you wonder who is going to be the leader of who is going to step up. We know Shuri's Black Panther, but is she
I don't even care, to be honest with you. I can't bring myself to care because it's like they've gotten rid of all. They've gotten rid of the men. They've gotten rid of Killmonger. They've gotten rid of T'Challa. They gave M'Baku. They gave M'Baku like a half a second in the trailer. I mean, where is everybody? Where all the dudes at?
Where my dudes at? From the front to back, is you feeling that?
Come on, man. It's hard to even care. It's like they take a comic that was very male centric, and at this point they just straight bastardized it. And
Larry's upset, y'all, because in comics they were wives in waiting, technically,
this is the thing. It's not even like you can't give the women very significant roles. Look at Black Panther, the first one. The women were badass. It wasn't like they gave the women some like they relegated them to like some second-class citizenry. They were badasses on every level. But now it's like that wasn't good enough. Now they basically just have to say, no, we have to get rid of the men altogether. I'm not down for that. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Larry, they didn't get rid of the white guy. They didn't get rid of Adrian Raw.
See, now we're starting to sound like real life. See, now we're starting to sound like real life. I don't like it.
Oh my God!
I don't like it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
I might sneak into the movies to see this one. I probably won't.
We're down to our last two stories, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that like Michael K. Williams, and you've been following Michael K. Williams from the time you guys seen him playing a gay person on The Wire to his death.
Omar,
you want to see his last movie? He's got a movie coming out August 27th, starring John Boyega, called Breaking. I've got the trailer. I want to hear what you guys think. I want to hear what Larry's think. Let's take a look at the trailer, then we'll talk about what it's about.
Leave right now. The guy in the gray hoodie is robbing the bank.
Who's in charge here?
Well, she is, but we're both.
I'm the manager. Estelle Valerie.
Still, once they leave, you lock the front and back doors, you understand me? You lock them all.
Got the FBI, the GBI, everybody here.
I'm sorry. Okay.
This is Sergeant Bernard. Is everyone all right in there?
As long as everybody stays calm, nobody gets hurt. I have a bomb, and I'm gonna kill myself and everybody in here. My demands, and I'm
there. This the Windy Hills Wells Fargo?
Yes, ma'am. This is the Wells Fargo.
Yeah, I need to talk to Bridget about my 401k. I think she made a $9,000 mistake.
I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am. Can I take a message for you? Fraud was committed. The VA stole my disability check from me.
I've had some problems with veteran affairs myself. How about you release one of those ladies?
No. I need everybody to see what's happening here. I need the fire trucks. I need the news cameras.
You have my
How much time do you think I do?
Snappers are in place.
Coming through.
Get the blondes.
Get the lights! What do I need to do to get the attention that I need right now?
Everything you say, everything you do, it matters.
You matter. All you got to do now is just make good, Brian.
Just make good.
You ever been robbed before?
Once.
How did it end?
Talk about somebody trying to embody Denzel from the look to his voice. That's what John Boyega was doing. Let me read you this synopsis real quick. It's produced by Bleecker Street. When Marine veteran Brian Brown Easley is denied support from Veteran Affairs. And let me pull this down real quick. Make no mistake, people. This happened a whole lot under Trump. Y'all claim you love the military. Under Trump's regime, me and Larry stayed up here week after week talking about how the Trump administration was fucking over the so-called military that the Republicans like. But I digress.
Yeah.
Financially desperate and running out of options, he takes a bank and several of its employees hostage, setting the stage for a tense confrontation with the police. Based on a true story, and I read some excerpts, a lot of this story did happen. Michael K. Williams, you get to see him in one of his last roles. You get to see John Boyega, he's a damn good actor. You get to see this sister right here, who's a damn good actor. And I forgot the lady's name. The white lady is in this. She plays in Tennessee. She also played in American Horror Story Season 1. She's a great actor. Larry, I'm going to see it. What do you think about this thing?
It looks good. It looks really good. It does have, somebody said it has John Q vibes. It definitely has that sort of same John Q type vibe, you know, but it looks very, very good. And
looks great.
Yeah, I'm glad to see John Boyega doing his thing, because, you know, they were trying to cancel him out for a minute and it looks like they can't do it. So yeah, it looks good. You know, I mean, the dude is a great actor, no doubt. You know, we know that. I mean, it looks like everybody in there is doing it. I mean, the homegirl right there from Orange is the New Black, she's, you know, she's a great actor. So yeah, it looks good.
Yep. Go check out Bleecker Street Productions, ladies and gentlemen. They are the ones who are producing this thing. It's in theaters August 26th.
Miss Lady 79 said this reminds me of that movie with Nate Parker where he took the police station hostage, and that's the one where he had a trial in there. That was a really good movie.
That was a damn good movie.
That's one of those things where I feel like, man, I feel like Nate Parker has made such fantastic movies, and I feel like he has just been getting screwed over left and right because of all this Me Too stuff, where some chick from college just basically effed him over with some fake, you know, with some fake accusations that weren't even true. I think even later she came out and said they weren't even true. I mean, but once it's out there, it's out there. I feel like he's just been getting just bent over left and right, but he has made some absolutely phenomenal movies. I mean, movies that Black folks like you and I want to see, like the movies that we keep saying, why can't Black folks get movies like this? And he's been making those movies, and they've just been basically screwing him over and not giving him the pub or the marketing or anything else. But he's still making them somehow. He's still figuring out a way to get them made. So, you know,
ladies and gentlemen, we're to the last story. Just a real quick excerpt. See what Larry thinks, because I told Larry about DC, and Larry's so frustrated with Marvel and Black Panther, he's about to jump on the DC bandwagon, even if their movies are trashy and shitty. Larry, this is the one DC movie I'm telling you I believe in. It's going to be great. They've got a great foundation, and this is the latest news. Black Adam reportedly added new post-credit scene with DC Universe ties, which we knew they was going to do that, because the highest paid person in Hollywood right now, Larry, is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And let me read you what they're saying. A recent test screening of Black Adam hashtag reportedly included a new post-credit scene introducing a new element to Johnson's place in the DC universe. It's unclear at this point what that post-credit scene could ultimately be, especially after years of rumors and speculation about a crossover between Johnson's Black Adam and Henry Cavill's Superman. Ladies and gentlemen, I can go ahead and tell you what it's going to be. Like, you ain't got to do this with us. They are going to milk The Rock for all the steroids he's got in his system because he's such a big draw in Hollywood. They're going to milk him and make him the new foundation of the DC cinematic universe. And I ain't mad, because by all accounts from that trailer I've seen, he's going to be rough. But here's the thing. This is why they're going to do this, Larry. This is why they put it in a post-credit. We've also seen the new Shazam trailer. And that character still is basically a kid character.
Mm-hmm.
He is not going to be able to deal with Black Adam as he is right now. So you might as well do what happened in the comics, where you one time had a very kid-like Shazam team up with Superman, and they both fought Black Adam. And when I tell y'all Black Adam was giving that shit to Superman, because remember, people, Superman has a vulnerability to magic. And in this movie, the person who's supposed to be the strongest magical person in the DC universe is in this movie, and he's even getting his ass kicked, and I'm talking about Dr. Fate. Larry, does this make you feel good? Are you feeling better about the DC universe? Are you excited? Tell me your thoughts on the Black Adam post-credit and what it's going to entail.
You know, I have some sour feelings towards The Rock, man. I'm not the biggest fan of dude right now.
Okay.
And so I'm not. That doesn't mean that the movie can't be great. That doesn't mean the movie can't be great. I'm hoping that it is great. I'm hoping that it is fantastic and it's entertaining. But because I have felt that same way before with DC movies, because DC has hyped up all kinds of other movies, and I have put it out there and said, "Oh, I can't wait to see it," and then gone and watched and left like, "Really? That's the trash you fed me?" I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna try and keep my expectations as low as I possibly can, because I don't want another Wonder Woman 1984, situation happening.
Larry, they killing me. And look, Larry, people used to always say I'm a Marvel fanboy. Larry, what's behind my head?
I see you. I see the DC poster in there.
So, and ladies and gentlemen, they killing DC. Look at my man Ramirez saying, "Laugh out loud." DC equals this kind of crap, but he's not done, Larry. He had to go and outdo himself. That says DC equals don't come see me. So basically, Ramirez, you saying DC is every woman who don't want to get pregnant. Don't come in me. And then he's got another one. He said DC equals disturbingly corny. Damn.
Oh man. I hope it's good. I feel like they should leave some of the stuff alone. Like maybe they should leave. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Black Adam will be good, but I feel like they should just go on with some other of the DC characters. Maybe go deal with Martian Manhunter or something. I mean, the first Wonder Woman was good. They just need to do something else with her. Bring in Nubia. Do a joint with her sister. They're
supposed to be. Ava DuVernay is supposed to be doing New Gods. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I got more news that's about to hurt Larry's feelings. Hot off the press. This is going to make you mad. Do you remember that they had brought on Michael B. Jordan to do a Black Superman movie?
I do. He's going to be Calvin Harris, right?
Yeah.
Or Calvin, yeah. I'm thinking of the DJ.
He was going to be Zod's son.
Right.
Larry, cut it.
They cut it? They killed it?
They cut it. They killed it. They killed it. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a tough week for DC. They killed Batwoman, which I'm fine with. Wasted $93 million that they could have gave to me and Larry.
Crazy. Why would they just release it? Put it out on HBO Max. Why kill it?
They said money. Larry, they said they would lose even more money by putting something that big of a budget on the streaming, so they killed that. DC was doing the Scooby-Doo movie. They killed that. And now you're killing the Black Superman. DC, come on, man. Come on, DC. I represent y'all on every YouTube video I do, and I still ain't took y'all down. I'm waiting for y'all. Maybe y'all waiting to sign me to start doing some writing. Because if y'all turn me loose, y'all going to be seeing some heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, epic stories if you let me get up in there and twist some of this stuff around. Maybe that's what my future holds.
I just want to say this, and I don't know if Brandon's out there. Behavior, if you're out there watching, I just want to say this. You can talk as much crap as you want to about Bob Chapek. But you don't see the DC debacles over there at Disney that you're seeing here with Warner Brothers. You're not seeing that. You're not seeing them tank movies and shelve movies and cancel movies. You're not seeing that. They lay out the phases. They put everything out there and they get made. So I mean, you can hate on him, but dude getting his job done.
In all honesty, Larry, Kevin Feige's doing all that, and Chapek just signed off on it.
Yeah, but he's smart enough. He's smart enough to stay out of the way. He's smart enough to say, "Let me see the paperwork. All right, I trust you. Looks good. Do your thing." Instead of everybody else getting involved and saying, "Okay, now we need to cancel this. We need to cancel that. We're going to revamp everything." I mean, you're losing your audience. By the time you get done revamping stuff, you're not going to have an audience left for anyone to watch. I mean, because now you have all the Marvel folks up there. Let's not forget, you have the boys. The boys are about to start their whole damn cinematic universe. They're about to start rolling with their spinoffs. They already have the series. God. They had the animated joint. They're about to start the boys, the college years, and Invincible's about to come out with some more stuff. I mean, you're about to lose your opportunity to have a real place in the superhero genre, which would be a shame considering how big DC is. Everybody knows Superman. Everybody knows Wonder Woman. Everyone knows Aquaman. And you're about to lose Batman. You're about to lose a lot of that because you're dicking around and can't make up your mind and get stuff done.
Speaking of Chapek, Larry has always rolled with Chapek when he gets into his arguments with B. Avery because he felt like Chapek knows how to get money to the shareholders. All right. I gotta give you this, Larry. Disney had their shareholder meetings last night, and they got the most subscribers of any streaming service in the last quarter. They kicked Netflix ass, and that stock was humming up today about $35 to $40, and I'm all up in it.
Yes.
And Disney cut their dividend to shareholders like me so that they could take time to ramp up the streaming products and their TV properties. And now they're saying that the streaming service is going to make Disney profitable, Larry, by 2024.
That's soon, man. That's a year and a half. And I saw him on
quarter
CNBC.
number two of 2024.
And I saw him on CNBC. He was talking about the theme parks. He was like, all the growth that they've seen on this with the theme parks would be talking about all the stuff they've seen, all the growth they've seen with the theme parks. He said that's all just from domestic travel. He said they haven't even gotten their international clientele coming back in because international travel hasn't fully opened back up yet. No. So all these people that are coming in, the parks being packed out. Let's remind you, I've been following some of the Disney stuff. Some of the people are upset with Disney because the parks are so overcrowded that people can't even get tickets. You have people who are former season pass holders. Disney had to stop having some of their season passes in the way they did because there were too many people. I mean, their parks are crazy, and that's just domestically. They haven't even brought in the international crowd yet.
Let me add to what Larry is saying about the parks. My wife had never been to Disney World, and I took her there in July, right? And we went to Epcot. And it's not so much that the park is packed, because it is packed. The problem is the lines waiting to get on stuff. So what Disney has started doing is they're doing this thing now where you get the Disney app, not the streaming app. There's a Disney app for the theme park. You can go and put yourself in a place in the line, and the app will alert you when it's time for you to come get in line to try to help people with this whole, the line is so long I can't get to do anything.
Right.
And so we got on the Guardians of the Galaxy new roller coaster. Lord have mercy, what the hell was I thinking? I don't know how I let my wife talk me into that shit. Shout out to B. Avery. His link is in the description. Go check my man out. He will be on my channel Tuesday. But
and B. Avery, if you still hate Bob Chapek, just go get some Disney stock. You won't hate him anymore.
Exactly.
Because when that stock keeps going back up and it goes up and up and up, you're gonna be like, yeah, maybe he's all right,
Like I told people, I was about to give you my stock tip. Get on Disney right now before they get profitable. Get on it. That stock is, I told people that stock is easily going back to 220. Right now, I bought more shares when it was like $98. And I mean, my dollar cost average was already 100 prior to it when everything dropped. So,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, Disney is almost what I would call a perfect stock if they paid a dividend. And and let me give you my definitions of that. Then me and Larry get out your hair for the night. You want a stock that continuously grows the stock price itself. You want a dividend that continuously get paid, which Disney used to be, and you want to make sure the business anchoring those things that drive the stock have multiple levers to get money. Disney has theme parks worldwide, safest theme parks at that, and now they've got the movie content. They've always tied their cartoons and characters to the theme park, and now they own Marvel, ESPN, and Hulu.
And they have Disney Travel. We can't forget about that. We can't forget about the Disney
ships.
Island, the cruise ships, all the hotels. All that Disney travel stuff they have going on. I mean, and we saw during the pandemic when one thing shut down with all the travel and theme parks, they just shifted over to the streaming, and they still were rolling. They were just still rolling.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't listen to nothing else we say, go buy you some Disney stock right now and just sit on it. It probably dip again, maybe to about 100, but it don't matter. You just need to be in it because it's going to get back up to 220. And when the company, by the second quarter of 2024, I'm thinking they're easily going to be 180, and they might announce that they're going to start paying dividends again. Yeah, that's when you sitting there making your money. So we out of here, my people. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe. We will be back next Thursday. Be sure to go check out my man, the living legend, Larry. He does a great job on his tech. This brother is a seasoned YouTuber. I'm going to never let him forget he'd be almost 300,000 subscribers. That's how good he is till YouTube screwed him. And now we need you guys to unscrew what YouTube did. Till that next Sex is Hell video. We'll see you.
Peace.